pass and be mine.
Real quick, I just wanted to add, this is what I'm using as my tokens, by the way. I love it. So the question is, who let the dogs out? Alright, guys. Well, my last Magic video, I did a mono black, I win the game type of commander from the Final Fantasy set as well, the guy that turns into a dragon, Xenos. This time, we got another Final Fantasy deck that I put together, and if you did see the last one, you've known I haven't really uploaded a lot of Magic stuff, because I took a big break from Magic, and slowly getting back into it with just a small pot of friends. We haven't been doing too hardcore with stuff, and I saw this guy, and I wanted to build a dog deck for a while, but I couldn't really decide what colors I wanted to play. Figured out this was the best to just play all 5, and this is a good commander that does it. Because lands entering untapped means I can play all the bounce lands. You know, the lands that they tap for 2, but they bounce a land back to your hand, but he makes them so they come in untapped. So you filter a mana, you bounce that land back to your hand, and then you play that land untapped, and now you just got 3 mana for nothing, pretty much. So yeah, he's pretty cool. So the Wandering Minstrel, what he does, lands enter untapped, so that means any tap lands that you play will be untapped instead, which is kind of busted. If you were building it hardcore, I mean, this is just 5-color tribal dogs, so it's not like super, like nasty, but it's funny. If he's a town commander, so he uses that new town lands. If you have 5 towns, on each combat, you get a 2/2 elemental token. And then for the amount of towns you have in play, you can pay Uberg and 3 and pump your team by that much, which is important for finishing out big games. And he's 2 colors to the cast, so he's just really easy to get out. Now, the main focus is blue and green because, well, land-wise anyway, because you want to get him out really quickly so all your lands come in tapped. But it is a 5-color deck, so you are trying to get all your colors into play. So I'm just going to kind of go through it. I organized it by alphabetical. So yeah, we'll just go into some of the creatures I play now. I don't play all of the dogs, or like there's certain humans that synergize with certain dogs. I kind of tried to make it so I picked the creatures that work with this particular deck the best. So if you don't see certain cards, there's probably a reason why it's not in here. But we got Bonkin. He's one that pumps your dogs up. The Watchdog. Now I think I took out the. There's a guy that searches 2 dogs, this and another dog in particular by name. I took him out because I wanted more synergy with some other stuff, but I still play the Alpine Watchdog because a 2-drop 2/2 with Vigilance in this type of tribal deck is pretty good. Always Watching is one of the non-dog cards. Non-token creatures get +1/+1 Vigilance, so you can hit hard and to keep all your dogs back for blocking. Animal Sanctuary. Make your dogs bigger. Arcane Signet. So here's one of the. So there's for every dual amount of colors. I call them bounce lands. That's what they usually are, like the derogatory term for them. They tap for their guild colors, and then when it enters, you have to bounce a land. So like I said, you want to. Let's say you had a forest. You tap it for green. So you got green in your mana pool. You play this land. You bounce the forest back to your hand, or any land that you tapped. And since your commander says your land's coming untapped, you get to ignore that tap of Oral. So then you can tap this immediately. So now you have green, white, and blue, pretty much. That's how the idea behind that works. All the towns also enter tapped, but also comes in untapped if your commander is out. This town transforms into a vehicle that lets you draw cards, really good. Banehound, Lifelink Haste, Town. But I'm playing majority of the towns. All the towns that tap for mana, like colored mana. There's a handful of towns I don't play, which are like the colorless ones. They didn't work as well as what I was trying to get. And you're playing 5 colors, so you want your colors. But sorry, if you do upgrade this deck even more, you can put in some more of the like better lands that let you get what colors you need. Blink Dog, double strike, and he can phase out. Babushka Bog is a land that usually enters tapped but can enter untapped, and it's just good to remove a graveyard deck's graveyard. Bolt Hound has haste, and he gets bigger per attacking creatures, and you're playing a creature-heavy deck, so that's going to get out of control fast. another bounce land, capital city, town. Taps for any of your colors by it's a filter land, plus you can cycle it. So even if you don't need it anymore, you can bounce it back to hand and then discard it later for cycling. So you can use it until you need it, and then when you don't need it anymore, you have enough mana, bounce it back and cycle it. Synergy. The Retriever. He lets you untap creatures. Chandra's Magma, it's a good pinger. Pings players and planeswalkers. Chromatic Lantern, good in any 5-color deck. It makes your lands tap for any color. Plus, it's a rock itself, so it fixes any mana issues you have of colors you don't have. Command Tower, 1 counterspell. Good old generic counterspell. Crossroads is a town. And then we got Distant Melody. So I won't go over these anymore, but basically there is each guild's land type. Distant Melody lets you draw a card for each permanent you control that shares a type, so all your dogs. The Call lets you search for any creature card, so any dog you need at the moment. And Camper's really good. He's a 1-drop, 1/1 with first strike, plus later you can sack him to pump creatures, plus to pump them even bigger. So he's really good early and late game. Here's one of the newer ones, Enduring Courage. It's a glimmer creature, so it comes back as it's an enchantment creature pretty much, and it has a really good effect. Gives haste and makes things bigger. Faithful Watchdog, just a generic. Enters with 3 counters on it. You're not really doing too much with counter synergies, but it's still just basically a 2-mana 3/3 with Vigilance, which is really good. Floodhound can make a small little draw engine for you. And he's a 1-mana. The 1-mana dogs are really good for this build. Now, I am playing a single forest and a single plains. The reason for that is when I get to the cards, you'll see. There's ways to tutor these, but all the other lands are dual lands. But basically, the reason I play a forest and a plains is because they're searchable. Another town. Goldbrand is a treasure dog, so he can act as a treasure for you, and he has first strike, another 1/1, but a 1-drop as well. We got the lands. And there's a town. There's a town for each guild type too, so that's good. Greater Tanuki has trample, and here's one of the ones where you can search for a basic land by channeling it. Gruul Turf, town. So this is one of the very few human guys that interact with dogs. He's a partner, so you can search for his partner, which is Paco, which is a dog, and he has a synergy where you can steal your opponent's stuff. Herald's Horn, good. You choose a creature type, dog. The dogs will cost 1 less, and then it can also help you dig into your deck more for dogs. Hound of Gristlebrand, even really good. Undying and double strike. That's a dog. Just to state that hounds have been eroded to dog. So if you're looking at the creature type and you're like, oh, that says hound, not dog, so it got eroded. So they are dogs now. Icon of Ancestry, choose dog. Dogs will get +1/+1, plus it helps you dig. Impact Trimmers, you're playing a lot of creatures, so it helps put more pressure on your opponents. Your dogs enter, they take a damage per dog. Another town, I love this guy. This guy looks like a fun deck to build, honestly, but the Shadow Hound, Assassins, you don't really play too many Assassins. I don't even think there is any. But he has Menace, but when you attack with a legendary creature, which there are your commander, plus there are other legendary dogs in here, you can return them to the battlefield attacking by paying 2 and a black. The good old 1-drop 2/2 Vanilla Hound. Town. And this one is one of the ones that actually does something else. It's an adventure, so it lets you return artifacts and enchantments back to your hand for its adventure cost. The Boiler Works, we got the K9 Mark 1. Came out of the Doctor Who set. It helps you tap stuff. Target legendary creature, not tap stuff, but it gives stuff unblockable and ward. This guy, humans you control gain indestructible. Your good old commander is human, so basically pay 1 and a green. You can give your commander indestructible until end of turn. Now, it is a sorcery. I saw that. I learned that the hard way, because when I was building the deck, I didn't notice that at first, that was a sorcery. That's kind of bad, but it is an alien dog, so you can cast it for its creature stuff as well as its adventure, so it's still good to be in here. Plus, it's legendary as well, so it triggers some of that legendary protection. Croxus and Kronos. Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. You don't want to see this early on. It doesn't help you early on, but it's one of those things that can help you big time later. It lets you put your dogs back in play from trash. Graveyard. Sorry, I've been playing too much Digimon. Kronos. This is the other version of Kronos. Vigilance, Lifelink. Cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. You don't do that, and your opponents might not do that either, but it's still it's a 3-mana 3/3 with Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink. Plus he's legendary. Good old Lightning Greaves. You want to put this on your commander as quickly as possible because you don't want him to leave the field. He's very important. He's one of those kill on sight commanders, I feel, that you want to protect him. This is another one of those adventure ones, except this one is an instant where you can make a wizard. But it's also just and whenever you play a non-token non-creature spell, you can ping the opponents, but whatever with that, it's just it's another one of your towns. It's just good. It can make a body, and it taps for red. Here's one of the ones that why you play single planes. It can search a planes. Even if you already use the planes or you can't search it, it's still just a 3/1 with vigilance. So it would be even if it didn't have that extra effect, you would still be playing it. It's just really good. Masked Vandal, so the shapeshifters will count as dogs. This was good. This is exile a creature from your graveyard, exile an artifact or enchantment, so it's good removal for 2, and it still counts as dogs, so it's with the synergy. You can sacrifice an artifact or creature and draw cards, so it's a town land that helps you dig. Mirror Entity, this card is super good. Let's say you have a shit ton of mana. You pay X and you can turn your whole board into that power and toughness. He's also a dog as well. So this is a planeswalker that makes dogs. Makes a dog illusion. So it's a dog. He's basically only in here because he does create dogs. Plus he helps you draw cards. Maui, trample vigilance. That's the important part of it. You don't. It is small +1/+1 counter like animal sanctuary. So if you have these two out, it is really good. But mostly he's there for trample vigilance. We got another bounce land pack leader. He pumps all your dogs. But I wish he was a legendary, honestly. But he gives all your dogs +1/+1 whenever a dog attacks. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt. So it makes sure that your dogs survive from combat. Here's Paco, the partner with the one guy that we went over. He helps steal cards from your opponents. One exiles cards with fetch counters, and then he fetches those cards and lets you play them. Path of Exile, generic white removal. Philia has flash. It helps you temporarily blink stuff. You can blink your own stuff or your opponent's stuff because it doesn't come back until end of step. So what I like to do is, like if I'm going in to hit somebody hard and they have something that's I don't want to block, you can just exile it, hit them, and then they get it back. Plus, it can like remove their counters too, because like if you blink something that has like 20 +1/+1 counters, it's going to re-enter with nothing. The single planes that we talked about. This is a instant that lets you search for basic lands or town cards and put them in the battlefield. Town, bounce land, Rambush. Look at his face. He's an artifact or enchantment removal. Reach the horizons. Search for 2 basic land cards or towns with different names. Put them onto the battlefield tapped. Realm Walkers, another one of your changelings, but he lets you play dogs from the top of your deck. Reflections. Enters, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy it. So this is a good for any tribal deck that can play blue cards. Release the Hounds is a sorcery that makes 4/1/1 dogs. Rex came out of the Fallout set. He mills your opponent. You get energy, and you can exile cards, creature cards from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard, and he gains activated abilities of them. Ren and Siri the Inseparable. Whenever you cast a dog, you get a cat. Whenever you cast a cat, you get a dog. And it does burn damage and gains you some life. As well, what's important to know is if you cast one of your changelings, they count as a cat and a dog, so you both get a dog and cat token as well. Rogue's Passage, unblockable land. Scrapwork Mutt is good because it helps you filter, plus you can bring it back later when you need, and it counts as a dog. Selfless Savior, 1 mana, 1/1 that you can sack it to give something indestructible. Shared Mastery, you choose whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1, +0 for each attacking creature that shares a creature type. So all your dogs will get bigger per dog attacking. I like this better than Coat of Arms because it's more safe. Coat of Arms I don't really play anymore in tribal decks because it helps your opponents too. This just helps you. Going over some of the lands, Soul Ring, Sophia. She makes a dog when she enters. You can sacrifice an artifact token to put a +1/+1 counter on each dog you control. And then when a dog deals combat damage, you create food and investigate. So it's just, it can get you really far ahead really fast. Oh, I'm talking too fast. All right, Spirited Companion. Enters, draw card, simple. Starting town, ridiculously expensive. I know why, because of standard, but it's another one of your towns. Summon Cerberus. It's one of those enchantment saga creatures, so it's both an enchantment saga and a dog. It has some pretty good effects. It lets you surveil. When you cast an instant or sorcery, you can copy it, and then the next instant and sorcery spell you cast, copy twice. It's more so... oh, whoa. That happened last video. Alright, where were we? Yes. Supply Runners puts a counter on each of your creatures. This is an equipment dog, so you can reconfigure it. Whenever it attacks or equipped creature attacks, add an amount of green equal to its power, so it can give you a lot of green really fast, plus it doesn't phase out. So this is one of the really important changelings. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, it gets bigger, plus it counts as a dog, so it can get really... People usually don't... At least my pod don't deal with this fast enough, and it can get out of control. And it's probably one of those things that you should probably focus on killing if you're playing against it. Judith's Hellhound has Unleash, other dogs have Unleash, and creatures you control with counters on them have Haste. And you get to add a red for each attacking creature when she attacks. Town, Unbreakable Formation is a protection spell, gives all your creatures indestructible, and if you cast it on your turn, they get a counter as well. Unclaimed Territory, you choose dogs, it'll tap for any color you need for your dogs. Underworld Serp. Now, you can call humans too if you're missing either blue or green to cast your commander and you have no other way to get it. It's just you don't really want to do that, but you can. That is an option to help you get your commander out. Underworld Cerberus can't be blocked. So basically it has like a special type of menace to where it has to be blocked by 3 creatures. Cards in the graveyards can't be targeted by spells or abilities, and when it dies, everybody gets their creatures back. So this, you have to be careful with this because this can benefit your opponents. But since you're playing a creature deck, it could benefit you more. It just depends on what your opponents are playing. The Warclamp Mastiff, just a 1-drop first striker. This one lets you surveil for 2, but it's a 3/1. That's really good. The Ever Faithful. Whenever another legendary permanent, there's a lot of legendary dogs in this, enters, you can put a +1/+1 counter on Ever Faithful. This town lets you create a hero token and put a +1/+1 counter on each land for each land you control. And we're already hit the bottom. Yeah, so this is it's not super competitive. It's just kind of fun. I'm a big dog guy, if you couldn't tell from some of the videos that I have on the channel. I love dogs a lot, so I wanted to build a dog deck for a while, and this was like, you know what? Everyone's building this in different ways. I'm gonna make it dogs. So yeah, we're pipering our way around with a bunch of dogs following us. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Magic videos might be here or there, but when I do have a deck I like, I don't mind sharing it with you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned for more. Who let the dogs out? Woof.